Hey guys, it's Kara with Green Heart Glowing. Welcome back to another video and a new energy reading for you, starting with angel cards to open the energy. Power. Wisdom of the Oracle today. Aww, I pulled soulmates. It's just cute when I pull that card because there's two little penguins on it. Oh. An important relationship brings you to your knees. This is the kind of soulmate who comes with a powerful gift. Your patterns and all your old stories that don't serve your well-being enter into this dynamic so you can heal them. This person is called to a sacred task to help you learn, even if it seems uncomfortable, sticky, or even inconceivable. The question is not, why did he or she do this to me, but rather, what is the gift in this? Look into this mirror. You will only be changed for the better. Well, when I pulled that card, I thought of my soulmate, Danny, my dog, who just died 2 months ago. And it's interesting about the idea of soulmates is how much emphasis gets placed on the human relationship soulmates, but I really feel like soulmates means something so different to me than what it used to mean when I was younger. You know, and you see all the romantic movies and things like that. My soulmates have always been dogs, and I also feel a strong soulmate connection with the divine and with spirit and with the unseen realms. Like, that's part of why I am in this type of work, because I feel and sense my place in the world more naturally fits with nature and animals and energies that are not just about human dynamics. I find human dynamics fascinating. I study them, and I've studied them my whole life. It's part of being on the spectrum for me, to understand like the psychological motivations for why people behave certain ways, or why I've always sensed people saying one thing or presenting themselves in one way, but why I'd always feel something different going on with them. I've learned that those parts of me that are sensing the underneath of somebody is to be taken seriously. It's actually something I used to make myself feel like, well, if I would say something to somebody and they couldn't see it or feel it or understand why I was bringing this thing forward, then it would make me question myself and make me feel like there was something wrong with me or with why I was able to pick up on these things that people weren't picking up on. And that's how my life has been to this day. And so for me, the world of humans has always been more of me kind of observing human behavior and reading their energy and understanding psychologically why they don't bring certain things forward. And I've had to learn how to allow people to be where they're at. Like, I'm a seer. I can go right into people, and a lot of what I've had to learn as an energy reader is how to honor and protect that space of where each individual person is at or ready to be at within their own journey, and to not point things out to them until they're ready for it. That's why for me, soulmates have always come more easily to me with animals, specifically dogs. And I think a lot of people who are not just autistic but highly sensitive feel that same way. There's just an unconditional relaxing that can happen in the natural world, more so than it can happen with humans. You know, human dynamics get really sort of complicated easily. Yeah, so that just all kind of came out in an interesting way to tie into what I was going to talk about with the current bigger energy of astrology happening. That is, Saturn has just re entered Pisces. And the last time Saturn re entered Pisces was March 2023. And so I always say those reminders of when it was first happening, because it really does help to go back and look at what was happening in your life at that time to understand this bigger energy more completely. Like, you know, when people talk about astrology, it can seem so abstract and kind of disconnected and like, oh, I guess I'm supposed to be feeling that way because this planet is doing this thing. But what I find really helpful about astrology is to recognize the bigger themes that come up in each of these dynamics. You know, when this planet is making an aspect to this planet, when was the last time that happened and what was sort of coming up for you at that time, and to see if that's resonating still. And, you know, I'll write things down like as things are happening, because it's just such a helpful way to look back. Not in a way of like, I don't want to control the situation. I can't, but it's interesting to see what types of patterns are connected to each different planet and the dynamic within those relationships. So, yes, look back at March 2023 and see what kinds of changes were happening at that time. For me, that exact month was when my almost 3-year relationship ended. I just moved back to the area I'm living in now, and I moved into a new apartment, and that all happened within that month. The cycle of Saturn into Pisces will end officially February 2026. Saturn in Pisces is, like, I always think of Saturn as like daddy, like authority, and somebody who is trying to get you to get your shit together. Like, there's a strictness that can happen with Saturn, but it's a push to structure yourself and make sure that you have the foundations laid so that whatever it is that you're wanting to step into has that foundation and isn't just this like Pisces especially is this very dreamy, floaty, creative, psychic, ethereal sort of vibe. And Pisces, a lot of times, you know, you kind of have to like bring them back down to earth in a lot of ways. Like, they're so beautifully creative, and it can just go and go and expand out into the universe like forever. So Saturn kind of pulls Pisces back down to earth and is saying, let's take all that like creative, juicy, abstract sort of thought and feeling and put it down into the ground so that it has roots to grow. I'm seeing a lot of people really waking up to their spiritual gifts as well, and to actually be taking them seriously. I think so much of what happens for an intuitive person, a psychic person, is they get looked at so many times like they're crazy. And of course, they start to believe that about themselves. So they turn the dial all the way down and feel these things and intuit these things and know these things, like people who know things but know that no one else is going to take them seriously, so they just stop sharing it. That kind of thinking is changing now, where I think people are really beginning to get connected to that part of themselves in a way that brings their power out. and where they no longer are afraid to show the gifts that they have and the ways that they see. This also has to do with the trust of learning about how to stop hiding yourself, how to stop making it so that you shrink and get smaller around people who you don't feel are going to be able to see you or take you seriously. And it does take a lot of courage to kind of go there and show people these parts of yourself, because it can be really isolating. You know, you don't really know why you're being called to something, and you might not know in this lifetime, but to be able to develop that trust within yourself, to know that the calling is calling you for a reason, and to find ways to not let the fear of what people are thinking or saying about you stop whatever needs to come through you. Because I think at this time in our lives, it's like we need to do that. We need the people who are, you know, healers, and the sensitive people, and the ones who are seeing things that other people can't see, because we're in a crisis. And this is the time where, if you've been holding back on something, we need you now. Like, we need you to be there. We need you to bring forward whatever gifts that you have been given that maybe you don't even yourself understand, but just taking little steps towards what could that look like and what does that mean for you, I think is really where our consciousness is at this time. And with saying all of that, I want to pull a card just to close off the energy today, because woo, the energy came through. Really felt it today. Ooh, beautiful. Heighten your vitality. Card 49. Tap into the depths of your being and draw on your personal power. If you feel like your energy is low, infuse your mind with the warmth of sunlight and visualize this light bringing new energy into you. You have energetic reserves to draw on. Allow this energy boost to flow through you. Connect with others or do something you love to continue creating the change you need. Spend time with a friend, smile, laugh, and share human touch. Ugh, really nice. All right, and before I go, I have to read this quote. There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action, and there is only one of you in all time. This expression is unique, and if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, not how it compares with other expression. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. Okay. That's just such a good quote. And that's from Martha Graham. That will also be included in my description box, as well as a link to book a one-on-one energy reading with me if you feel called. Thank you so much for being here and sharing some of your energy with me today. If you liked this or resonated with it, a subscribe or a like really helps my channel out. And I would also be interested to know what's coming up for you right now, because that always helps me to get a feel for what's happening in the collective. So please feel free to share anything that's happening for you at this time. And I'll be back soon with another energy reading. Bye. Testing the sound. Oh gosh. Testing the sound. Testing the sound. And coming back to the couch. What am I gonna say in my intro? Okay. Saturn re-enters Pisces for the final time. This lighting sucks. Eyelashes, check. Hey, let's pull one of these today.